Hey there, Stampers. Happy Thursday. Welcome to this week's Facebook Live. I'm just logging into my iPad. So I'm a day early this week because I leave for onstage in Vancouver tomorrow morning. And so I'm not going to be able to do a Facebook Live tomorrow, obviously. Super excited to see lots of friends that I haven't seen in a long time and to see a bunch of new product. I just love these live events. So I'm so excited after all this time to finally be back to live events. All right, let's see here. Okay, so before we jump in to today's project, which is going to feature products from the Sweetest Christmas collection from the July to December mini catalog, which is a fun holiday themed suite. So we'll be creating 2 cards today. But before we jump into that, I wanted to share a few things. There's a couple deadlines today and just a couple other things that are happening. So I want to point them out just to make sure that you're aware. All right, so first of all, the Fitting Florets collection is available to customers now. This is a beautiful collection. Actually, it's the collection that Laura and I have decided to go with for this month's class to go, which the deadline to register for this class is today. So if you want the instructions and kits for 6 beautiful cards using this collection, make sure you head over to my blog and check out the details on that. Okay, there's an option for everyone. If you're on my team, there's an option. If you're outside of Canada, there's an option. And of course, there's an option if you're within Canada, whether you make a purchase or whether you just want the kits. All right. So, and this collection includes a bundle, which will be in the upcoming mini catalog, the January mini catalog. And then there's the framed and festive, so a holiday themed stamp set. There is some DSP and there's some fun little embellishments. And these 3 items are only available while supplies last. And I did not check this morning, but I believe everything is still available. I haven't heard otherwise. All right, so deadline for this class to go is today. So you'll want to make sure that you head on over and register for that. The cards are absolutely gorgeous. I don't think you can go wrong with this suite. This is, like, you can create so many gorgeous things with this collection of products. All right, then we've also got, today is the deadline for this month's Christmas card class. So since July, I've been doing monthly Christmas card classes, and this month we are featuring the all bundled up stamp set, and today is the last day to register for that. So you get the supplies to create 6 cards, 2 of each of these cards. And this is such a fun stamp set, so fun. These card designs are great for Christmas cards, but you could also use them for birthday cards, like wintry birthday cards or thank you cards. It's just a really fun stamp set to work with. All right, let me just pop this stuff away. I've got one more thing to mention. If you are a Paper Pumpkin subscriber, there is a sale going on. It's just yesterday and today, so today is the last day, the 10th, where you can get any of the past Paper Pumpkin kits or refills that are still available, or any kind of add-ons that they had available. And I believe most of them are 50% off or up to 50% off. There are some great deals there. So head on over to my website and click on Paper Pumpkin kits and go to the past kits, refills, and add-ons and see what's available. But these are the add-ons for this month's kit, and they're on sale for like $2.25 for a package. So these are just these, I think they're called Santa sacks. I think that's what they're called. But they're not just Christmassy. Like, look at that pattern. That doesn't need to be used at Christmas. So they are, let me give you the measurement here. They are 4 by 6 inches. And I'm working on a mini album. I was hoping to have it up or done so that I could share with you earlier than now, but I've been bogged down with a few things. So it will go up next week. And if you like mini albums, you will definitely want to pick up a package or 2 of these, because I think you'll really love how simple it is to put together and how cute it turns out being. Okay. But I also wanted to point out that this is a great little package to put note cards in. So if you wanted to include like a little gift card or a little treat inside with a note card, these bags are the perfect size for that. Okay? All right, so let's get on to the crafty project, which is, I know, is why you're here. All right. Okay, so from November 10th, so today, until November 19th, if you place an order through me using this month's host code, which is in the description, I will send you the card kits to create, with your $50 order, I will send you the card kits to create the 2 cards that I'm making today, along with a 3rd card, which will be your thank you card. So this one will be finished. And then if you place a $100 order with me, then I will also include a package of these seasonal sequins, just as a little thank you. So you'll receive all of this with a $100 order and this with a $50 order. And I will walk you through making these 2 card kits right now. All right, so let's set those aside. Okay, we're gonna start with this one here. So like I said at the beginning, I am using products from the Sweetest Christmas collection, which is at the beginning of the July to December mini catalog. And there is this fabulous Sweetest Christmas DSP, and one of the patterns is a full sheet of candy canes that can be die cut using the, just pulling out the dies here, and of course the name isn't on. I think they're called the candy cane dies, maybe. So these dies here, this is what comes in there. So you can use these dies to die cut that whole sheet. But if you don't have the dies, that's fine. You can fussy cut them as well. But so I've gone ahead and I've die cut that, or 2 of those, and then I'm going to take this fabulous background die and we're going to die cut a piece of garden green cardstock. So I'm just grabbing my Stampin' Cut and Emboss here. I'll bring it over. Okay, so I'm going to center this on here so that it's got a nice even border, and position it, and I'm going to position it at an angle. Whenever you've got a straight edge, I always recommend that you have one kind of corner going in first. Don't put it straight on. Sometimes you won't get, it won't cut nicely, and it just makes some terrible noises when you do it that way as well. All right, so I'll feed that through. We can move this aside. Pop that off. All right. Now we'll peel this off. Poke all these out. Now these, you can save these pieces, because what you can do is you can die cut another one of these in another color, and then you can fill in these gaps with multiple colors so that it creates a fun background. So that's one of the things that you can do. I've got a number of these. I've cut lots and lots of these, so I don't need to keep these little pieces anymore because I've got a nice selection. You can even use these pieces on their own and create, if you've got multiple colors, you can create some fun patterns. So if you interchange the wider ones with the narrower ones, you can have space in between, or you can butt them up together. Okay, so we've got that background piece, and we'll just pop this in the trash bin here. All right, and this card is really simple. We're only stamping one thing, and actually, well, I guess 2 things, because we want to stamp on the inside of our card as well. So I'm going to use the greeting that says, it's the most wonderful time of year. And this is the bundle that we're using. So there are 2 bundles in this Sweetest Christmas suite, but I am using just the Sweet Candy Canes bundle for today's projects. So this greeting is from that. I'm going to use some Memento ink. Good morning, Carol. Good morning, Darlene. Good morning, Tracy. Good morning, Susan. All right, so I'm going to stamp that kind of closer to the bottom here because I want to trim it down a little bit smaller. And I also realized I forgot a piece of white for the inside, so I'm going to grab a scrap piece of white. Thankfully, all of my things are nice and close, so I can reach, because you know, every time you kind of forget something, right? Good morning, Lori. All right, so I'm just going to trim this down so it's a little bit narrower. Good morning, Louise. Okay, and then we want a 5 1/4, that's 5 1/4 by 4-inch piece for the inside. Okay, let's pop this back out of my way. Okay, and then let's see, what other greetings do we have for the inside? Wishing you lots of love, joy, and happiness this Christmas season and always. That's a good one. Okay, I think I've got both of these mounted on blocks. Yes, I do. Good morning, Denise. All right, so I've got my white piece that I'm just going to stamp in the center here. And you know what? There are some really nice leaves in here. Let's add some leaves as well. We'll take this little leaf image, and I'm just kind of winging it as we go here. And we'll use, I've got Pool Party because our card base is going to be Pool Party. So let's pull in a little bit of Pool Party here. All right, so we've got a little bit of color on the inside of our card. You know what, let's do the envelope while we're at it. Let's do opposite corners. This one will get covered over by the stamp, but that's okay. You'll see a little bit peeking out. So it's really, really subtle. I love that leaf. Oh, I know, Louise. Pool Party is one of my favorite colors too. Love it. I tell you, I don't know what I would do if they ever retired it. I'd be lost without Pool Party. We've had some colors kind of similar in the past. Like, does anybody remember Soft Sky? Soft Sky was such a beautiful color as well. And then we had Baja Breeze, which was another beautiful color. But I find Pool Party, you can just, it goes with so many different colors. All right, so we're going to pop that on the inside. And then we're going to add this to the outside. I'm just doing a narrow bead of multi-purpose glue. You could use some mini glue dots as well, or you could cut this with adhesive sheets if you wanted to. Now it's just a matter of finding a place to hold it so that you don't get glue all over your fingers. And this will give us, I have a little piece here that I want to cover over. It's just like a little bit of the paper is kind of fraying there or something. So we'll put it this way, and that way my embellishment cluster will cover it over. All right. Then we're going to add this vellum circle, which I cut using the Stylish Shapes dies. There are very few cards that I create that either don't have baker's twine or don't use the Stylish Shapes dies. I tell you, I love those dies so much. All right, so we're going to add this on here about there, and then we're going to take our candy canes and we're going to pop them up. So let's put this one on first. We'll use some dimensionals for this. So does anybody have any fun plans for this weekend? Like I said at the beginning, I'm heading to Vancouver for Onstage. I'm so excited. put this one this way, and then we'll add some dimensionals here. I'm just going to put the 2 on this one because this one's going to sit across this one here. I think I need to move this over a little. Okay, let's try that, see if it's better. Yes, Tracy's coming to On Stage with me. We're gonna have so much fun, and we found that there is a Christmas market actually not far from where we are. So on Saturday after On Stage, we're gonna head over to a Christmas market. I'm very excited. All right, we've got our candy canes, and then of course I had to include some white baker's twine. Oh, Barb is watching from Mexico. Hey Barb, what is the weather like in Mexico? Because it is cold here. You picked a good time to leave. All right, I'm just going to use a mini glue dot to stick this on. And these, I'm just using up some leftover paper pumpkin mini glue dots. Oh, which reminds me, I mentioned the sale on if you were a Paper Pumpkin subscriber, but today's also the last day to subscribe to this month's Paper Pumpkin kit, which is some fun glittery holiday tags. I'm looking for my scissors here. 27 degrees and it's morning. Oh my gosh. Well, let's see, what's the temperature? It is minus 18 here right now. So I'm glad you are nice and warm. All right, let's take a couple of these little edge pieces and we'll pop this up. This is gonna sit across. Here like this. So cute. All right, and then we're going to finish it off with just a few of these seasonal sequins. And I think I'm running low on what I've got left here. I've only got 2 of these white ones. We'll just finish these off. We're going to do 2 up here. All right, and there we go. Our first card is done. So this is one of the card kits that you'll receive, and you can see that all you need for this is really just a long and narrow greeting. Everything else will be in your kit. And then if you want to add a greeting on the inside and then a couple leaves, again, you can pull those from any sets. I'm sure you've got sets in your collection that you'd be able to use. All right, so that is card number 1 if you place a $50 order with me. And then card number 2, this is what your card kit will look like. Let me just put this envelope with this card. Okay, so we're using a thick white, thank you Lori, a thick white card base. And we're gonna do some ink blending. Thank you, Louise. Oh, Louise says it feels like minus 27 there. What's the temperature where you are, Louise? Because you live in BC, right? Good morning, Lorraine. Okay, so I'm going to use my blending brush and some Pool Party ink, and I need my sample just to remind me what this card looks like. Okay, I love this card. But I love cards with lots of white space, so this card is definitely one of those cards. All right, so I'm just adding a little bit of color in the background. Yeah, it's amazing what just a little piece of vellum can do to a card, hey? I use a lot of vellum. So I'm kind of doing it in like a triangular shape. Okay, and I realized that I forgot to mount one of my stamps. I need this Merry and Bright stamp, so I'm going to clean this long, narrow one if I can find. Oh, here's my scrub. I'll pop this back in here, and pop this on here. Want to make sure this is straight. Hopefully that's okay. All right. And then we're going to use some Pool Party and create a bit of a background. And I'm going to grab a scrap piece of paper. I just want to make sure that this piece or these words are relatively straight before I stamp it. So sometimes I like to stamp it on a scrap piece of paper just to make sure it's pretty close. Yeah, that looks good. Okay, we're gonna leave that there for a minute. All right, and we're gonna stamp a few of these. Let's make sure my paper is straight. So we'll start here, and then without re-inking, we're gonna stamp it again, and it's very, very fine. My Pool Party is really light. It actually needs to be refilled. And then we'll do it again here, and then maybe one more up there. So we created this really subtle background with a little bit of ink blending and then a little bit of stamping. We're done with Pool Party. Set that aside and we can pop this away. All right, now I've got this label shape, which is also from the candy cane dies, and this is really cute because it's actually meant to, you're meant to put like it on a candy cane, but of course you could do it on something like a pencil, so you could do it on a highlighter, you could do it on a paintbrush, a peppermint stick, so it can be used all year round. It doesn't necessarily just have to be used for candy canes. But that is cut, and we're going to use the greeting that says Christmas cheer, and I'm going to use some Sweet Sorbet and some basic black Stampin' Write markers. I always like to start with my lightest color, and if you use the brush tip and hold your marker at an angle, you can add the color to your stamp. And you can do multiple colors. So, and by holding your marker at an angle, it just helps prevent fraying the tip, and it'll prolong the life of your marker. I've had some of my markers since well, I didn't buy them right away because I was a brand new stamper when I signed up. I did not have, I had only stamped once at the party that the lady I signed up under. That was my very first experience with stamping. And I told her, I said, I want to host a party and I'm going to sign up because I was hooked immediately. So it took me a while to build a collection of products. So I didn't buy the markers right away, but I've been a demonstrator for 18 years, and I would probably say some of my markers are 17 years old. Like, I've been using them. Some of them, the fine tip, there's no ink left in them. Like, it's the fine tip doesn't work, but the brush tip still works perfectly well. So they will last a long time as long as you're storing them properly, and you want to store them like this and not like this. All right. So we've got that stamped. Okay, we still need to stamp one more thing. So for this, I'm going to bring in my Stamparatus. Now, you do not need to have the Stamparatus to use this stamp, but I have found that I like to, so that I get a nicely inked image. So I've got my stamp mounted here, and I always like to keep, I have a silicone mat that I just keep with my Stamparatus. I find just giving it that extra little bit of height makes a world of difference. So I'm just going to position this. That looks good. We'll pop this magnet right on here. Make sure it's not in the way. And we are going to use some Sweet Sorbet. I love Sweet Sorbet for Christmas projects. It's such a fun red. going to ink that up. I really need to go through and re-ink some of my ink pads. I've been noticing a lot of them need to be re-inked. Pool Party is definitely one of them, and I think this is one of them as well. Actually, that looks good. Now, I do want to point out that that doesn't look like it's super well inked, but it actually is, because if you look at the stamp, you can see that there are lighter areas. It's not all consistently one color. Just like this, there's some variation in color, just some texture to it, okay? So you won't get a super nice crisp image because that's not how it's meant to be stamped. All right, so I did do it on my Stamparatus because I thought I would have to stamp it twice, but that turned out well the first time. Okay, now we'll bring in one of these candy cane dies. And what I did, let me show you. Let me pull out the DSP. So you can see that I've got those two stamped or taped together just with some washi tape. That's because I am working on some gifts for my upcoming Art Barn crop. And it's a sweet candy theme. So obviously this is the sweet that I'm using. And I was fussy cutting this. So when you tape them together, once you get them lined up, you can tape them together. And then you just pop those out and you can just keep going. You don't have to reposition both of them at the same time. So there's a little tip for you. I love this pattern paper. All right, but for this one, we just need the one. So I'm gonna untape it. And I'm gonna do this off camera just so I don't have to bring my die cutting machine back again. And how many of you have this collection or this bundle or even just the DSP? I've really enjoyed playing with this collection of products. I think I've done, yeah, I did a couple weeks ago, I did one of my lives featured this collection, and I showed you how you could emboss in any color. I think that was the one that I did. I don't know where that card is. But I also did this one as a Facebook Live. And this was that kind of torn technique. I did this recently. I was invited to present at another demonstrator's crop, and this was the layout that I presented. So that was fun. Like, there's just so many products that you can bring in that will coordinate well. So this one uses some of the textured elements, and then I also combined it with the other bundle that is in that Sweetest Christmas suite. And what else did I do? Oh, I used the Wintry 3D embossing folders, and of course the Stylish Shapes is in there as well. All right, so we've got our candy cane stamped, and I wanted to bring in just a little bit of shimmer. So I'm pulling out my Wink of Stella, and I'm just gonna color the wide white areas. I love Wink of Stella. It's just so quick and easy to add a little bit of shimmer. It's one of those must-have things in everybody's crafting collection, I think. Okay, so I'll just keep going. Did anybody watch The Crown last night? The Crown, whatever season we're on, I think it might be the 5th season, just released yesterday. So we watched the first episode last night. I'm not sure about this new Diana. She doesn't look like Diana. My husband thinks that she looks exactly like Diana, but I don't know. I thought the last person who played Diana did a fabulous job and just looked exactly like her. Maybe I just need a little bit of time to get used to her. Okay, so I've taken a piece of garden green ribbon and folded it in half and then fed it through. And then I'm going to take some white twine and wrap this around. and tie a bow. Mary Liz, how have you been? I haven't seen you in a while. What have you been up to? All right, I'm gonna pinch this and then we'll tie a bow. So just because this is intended to be used on a candy cane doesn't mean that you have to use it on a candy cane. I've been enjoying using it in different ways. All right, so we've got that. All right, and then I've got a few scraps of this DSP. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put these, I'm just gonna put these like this, just kind of lining it up, and I want to angle cut this. I'm gonna do it this way. Okay, and then we're gonna add this one first. So for those of you who are joining in late, the 2 cards that I'm creating today are my gifts. If you place a $50 order with me between, sorry, I'm concentrating here, between November 10th and November 19th, if you place a $50 order, you'll receive these 2 card kits, as well as a 3rd card created using this collection. That card will be finished, so it'll be another idea. Okay, so I'm lining these up. And then if you place a $100 order, in addition to those 3 items, so the 2 card kits and the thank you card, you'll also receive a package of the seasonal sequins. All right, so this is going to go on flat. And we're going to pop that on here like this. Just add a little bit of an angle. And then this piece is going to go on using dimensionals. And I'm going to specifically put it, or purposely put it over top of my ribbon, so it will hold my ribbon in place. And then this is going to go on here, being mindful to not extend it past the card so that it'll fit nicely into an envelope. Okay, and we could leave it at that, but I felt like it needed something else, and I felt that the sequence might just be a little bit too big. I could put some sequins on there, but what I decided to do, and I'm looking, oh, here we go, is I'm going to use just a Sharpie pen. You can also use your Stampin' Write marker, the fine tip, but remember I said that some of my fine tips don't work anymore after so many years of use. So I'm just gonna pull out my Sharpie pen and I'm just gonna put like a little trio of dots kind of here and there. And I find that this just adds so much to a project. It's such a small little detail, but it just, I don't know, it just gives the card so much more interest. So let me bring that up closer because you guys can't really see that. Hopefully, you see that detail? It's so pretty and it's just so subtle. I love it. All right, now for the inside, I'm going to use this greeting, may the good times of today become the cherished memories of tomorrow. And we'll stamp it in black just because I've got my black here. Yeah, it's a fun little way to add a little accent. Hey, Sarah? And it doesn't add, it's not any additional expense. It's not any additional bulk. And sometimes you just, maybe you don't want a card with bling, right? So this is just a subtle way to add a nice little added touch of detail. Okay, hopefully that's straight. That's a little crooked, but that's okay. It's a sign of a handmade card. And I think we're gonna add, I really liked those leaves on the last card, so we're gonna go ahead and add the leaves on the inside of this one. All right, and I'm going to do the exact same thing that I just did on the other one. That brings in a pop of that pool party color as well. And there we go. There is our second card. So let me pull in the first one. Okay, so there are the two cards that I created using that suite. So just a reminder, if you shop with me using this month's host code, which I put in the description, between November 10th and November 19th, your $50 order will get you these two card kits, as well as that third. So you'll get these two card kits, as well as this already made card as a thank you card. And then if your order is $100, then you'll also receive a package of these seasonal sequins. All right. So thanks so much for watching. Make sure that you follow my Facebook page and Instagram, and over on Instagram at Sherry Stamps, because I will be sharing lots over the course of the next coming days, because it's on stage time. Lots of new products to come out. I'm so excited. It's time for a new catalog. All right. So I hope you guys have a fabulous weekend, and thank you so much for watching. I will see you again next week. Will be a Thursday live as well. All right. So watch for that. Okay. Thanks so much. Take care, guys.